Volleyball. Today, the Miller Lite Fort Myers Open. The Kiraly will face Randy Stoklos and St. John Smith. Welcome back to Fort Myers, Florida. As we get ready for the final, a game to 15. The weather conditions are just ideal down here. And for the winning team, a good piece of loose change, Chris Marlowe, to pick up.
Well, 28% of the total purse goes to first place, and you can see the drop-off. It drops off fairly quickly, so you want to finish in the first three if you can.
Randy Stoklos and St. John Smith won this tournament last year. They traditionally get off to a quick start, and here they are again in the finals trying for that first-place prize money. The weather conditions are, I would say, almost ideal at this time. There is a little bit of a breeze, but it's kind of nice because it keeps things a little bit on the cool side.
Might mention it's been very, very hot over the two-day weekend, but with the breeze coming up, it makes the playing conditions very, very nice right now.
The all-time winner in wins, St. John Smith, 91, and right behind him, Randy Stoklos, 71. They have teamed together for so long, and they have been so very successful. Brent Frohoff, a little bit of a surprise in the finals, although always known as a talented player, and from Olympic fame, Kiraly. This is the first tournament. Last year, as we look at Bobby Clark, the referee, Randy Stoklos was the dominant player out there. Will he be in 1989?
Well, I think being the P award, people say, well, it should have gone to St. John Smith or someone else, but if you ask most of the players, they'll say Randy Stoklos is the best player on the beach right now.
He starts it off with a jump serve, and then he comes back up to the net and blocks it, so they quickly start 1-0.
And you want to know the reason why he's the best player on the beach. He's able to block at the net. He's a big fella, 6'4", 220. He's one of the big players in the game that can block, but he has such a nice soft setting touch that he can really help his partner.
The serve by Stoklos goes out, but the whistle was before the serve, and I think Bobby Clark, the referee, is going to call a foot fault.
Rule in beach volleyball, you're not allowed to touch the rope with your toe or your foot, and you're not allowed to drag it in, and that's what Randy did on that serve.
So that's a side out. Kiraly, the Olympian, will put it in play, also with a jump serve. Two-hand set by Randy Stoklos. Dug by Frohoff, bump set by Kiraly, and Frohoff puts it away. We're tied at 1. So Kiraly serves early notice that he's making that transition from indoors to the beach.
As taught him to play beach volleyball in Santa Barbara when he was just 6 years old. Entered a tournament when he was 11, and he's really turned out to be a great player.
And his father still plays on the beach. Randy Stoklos with a big hit down the line. That's a side out, so we're still tied at 1. Stoklos and Smith doing well. St. John Smith is definitely a veteran and does well when he doesn't have injuries.
It's been 2 years now. My shoulder has been giving me some problems, and I haven't been able to really work out in the off-season as much as I'd wanted to. This last off-season, I really went hard. I strengthened my shoulder.
Because he gets the majority of serves when he plays with Randy Stoklos. He has to be able to hit the ball hard.
Blocked by Stoklos. Chance for a point.
Like that.
And it is. Brilliant hit. When there's no block, any of these players can put it straight down, and that's what Smith did right there.
One of the things that you really have to gauge yourself for when you have a sore shoulder, can you turn the ball down the line? Now Smith comes in, watch him torque back towards the line. That's one play you can't make if you have a sore shoulder. I can tell you from personal experience, St. John Smith is all the way back this year.
Are there going to be more shoulder problems now that everyone's using the jump serve?
Well, I think it could be. There's an ace right there, but you're certainly hitting the ball harder every time. It's like a spike. They use a Spalding volleyball out here, which is very easy on your shoulder, but a few years back they used another type of ball, which was a lot heavier, and a lot of players complained that ball caused a lot of the shoulder problems that we're seeing today.
So serving is a big weapon right now. They can't get that dink by Frohoff up. Smith and Stoklos can't get it over.
Just to continue that point, we haven't seen a float serve in this game so far, so all the players are jump serving. That could be a big factor. Just a little dink over the block, and this is a play that Randy Stoklos makes about 90% of the time if he can get back, but Smith unable to cover. The blocker has to take a little area around him. That's a place that the defensive player cannot cover, so the blocker has to guard his area as well as the net.
Trailing 3-1, Brent Frohoff goes to the jump serve. Frohoff just quickly puts it away. So it is 3-2, the team of Smith and Stoklos leading here in the finals in our game to 15 in Fort Myers, Florida.
Sun is being enjoyed by the fans. They certainly like it, but this jump serve is such a big weapon. In my day, there was only one player that served it, Bob Vogelsang, and we all thought he was crazy.
A man before his time. Big block by Kiraly. So Kiraly showing the skills of the indoor game. He's being able to serve, hit, set, and there showing that he can block too.
Now time, 3-3, Stoklos and Smith. Brett Frohoff to continue serving.
Just a battle at the net between Stoklos and Kiraly. Kiraly able to move his hands, and that's what makes Kiraly a great blocker, as well as Randy Stoklos, the ability to move your hands along the net and watch the offensive player.
Frohoff and Kiraly coming back now.
No!
The ball is shanked, I think, by St. John Smith. He was just trying to tap it long or deep, and he missed it.
Ryan Frohoff. 4 serving 3.
91 tournaments he's won. Kiraly's won 23, if you're wondering, and Brent Frohoff has only won 2. And he hasn't won one in a couple of years.
So these players battling in front of this big crowd, showing you how far beach volleyball has come, and St. John Smith's been a part of it. It's paying off in a big way as they travel about 7 months out of the year all over the United States to play beach tournaments.
What's also interesting, Lynn, as Stoklos misses the jump serve, is that these players have heavy endorsements. They're well recognized by the fans, but I think that people that serve up the products throughout the United States say, hey, these young kids are great at endorsing products, and so they make a lot of money in that arena too.
Well, they are known on the beach as the kings of the beach, and in fact, St. John Smith has a book by that same title. You don't have to change partners, but for Smith and Stoklos, it has been a big advantage for them to be together for so long. Last year, including this one. But they are starting to make a few errors in this game. And of course, it is a 2-day double elimination tournament. They played earlier against the team of Frohoff and Kiraly and kind of blew a 14-10 lead and lost it 17-15.
Well, Kiraly and Frohoff have been a big surprise in this tournament, how well they've played together. It's out of bounds, I think.
There's no touch on the block. Just hit it long, or wide rather.
That's something you don't see Smith and Stoklos do very often. They very rarely make errors hitting the ball out of bounds or into the net. They keep the ball in play a lot, which makes them a great team.
Beach volleyball is a very repetitious sport. It is a game of errors, and you are correct. The team that makes the fewest errors usually wins.
Come on!
Easily run down by Frohoff.
Oh, great up.
And then Kiraly just dinks it to put it away and win another point.
That's 4 straight points for Kiraly and Frohoff. I think Randy thought that Kiraly might have dinked that open hand indoor style, but he did not. There, you see him opening his hand. He's saying, was that an indoor dink? And Kiraly's, maybe we'll get a chance to see it. Kiraly perhaps thinking, I saved that indoor dink for the Soviets and the Brazilians.
Best point of the match so far.
Right here, watching Kiraly. Does he use an open hand? I don't think so. Tough to tell, but Stoklos thought he did. Look at him walk over real quick. Of course, he couldn't get it, so he had to say something. But 4 quick points for Kiraly and Frohoff. They've really taken control.
So the players will towel off. Earlier, Chris Marlowe had a chance.
It's different time, different eras. Tough to compare. It'd be like comparing Muhammad Ali with Joe Louis. It's just very, very difficult.
You can only compare how you did against people of your era, and I think they are the best. Tim Hovland and Mike Dodd, though, are right behind them. However, in this game, as we see another great block by Kiraly and Brent Frohoff are the best team right now.
They are certainly playing very well at the moment. The jump serve is causing some problems for Smith and Stoklos, and the blocking of Kiraly is up way over the net. And normally teams won't serve Randy Stoklos because they're scared of him, but Kiraly and Frohoff doing a job at the moment. They lead. A nice lead for Kiraly and Frohoff at the moment. 4 points, but now they go to the bad side, and they'll have to earn their points. They'll be going with the win. Smith and Stoklos now on the good side.
And Brent Frohoff, the part Cherokee Indian, will put it in play with the jump serve. Bump set by St. John Smith, and Stoklos hits it just in, right on the line. So that's a side out. Smith and Stoklos come in as the #1 seeded team in the tournament.
And that's a big advantage. People don't realize why. It's simply because you get to play easier teams on your way, but it's an honor they deserve and they've earned over the years as a team.
So they don't take advantage of the opportunity. As you know, you can only score when your team is serving, and that ball went out, so Karch Kiraly will now serve.
Interestingly, on the Olympic team, he never used the jump serve. He's got a good one, but he thought it tired him out so much. But on the beach, he's using it every time here.
The block by Frohoff as they alternate blocking is not good, so that is another side out.
They trail by 4. 3 serving 7. St. John Smith with the serve.
6 of those 10 tournaments won by St. John and his partner Randy were the first 6 events of the year. Oh, Smith knew where it was going to be hit, but he couldn't quite get it up. The sand here in Fort Myers sticks to you, but it's great sand to hit out of. It's very firm, and the players can jump well out of it. Bobby Clark, the referee, in charge. That's an ace.
Serve. When Brent Frohoff won his only 2 tournaments, one in Santa Cruz and one in Calgary, he was playing with Scott Akatubby, and the reason they won, when they were hot with their jump serve, they could score points. They were never quite consistent enough to do it all the time, but when he gets his going, he has as good a jump serve as anybody in the game.
Great camera angle, and you can see Randy Stoklos hit that right down into that sharp angle, and good. That's a side out. Randy Stoklos is a few years younger than St. John Smith, so even though he is almost a veteran out there, he's second behind St. John on the all-time money list because St. John started with a few other players and has been playing a little longer. Karch Kiraly with a 2-hand set and a great shot. Sharp angle by Brent Frohoff. This is interesting for Karch Kiraly because he's still going to play on the national team, splitting indoors and outdoors.
I have decided
Thing for volleyball, both beach volleyball and indoor volleyball. You want to see Karch on the beach, but you want to see him on the Olympic team. And I think he'll be there in 1992 in Barcelona. That's my personal opinion.
The hit by Stoklos goes through the block of Brent Frohoff.
And Lynn, this is really more serves we've seen to Randy Stoklos in a tournament that we've done in a long, long time. They're serving Stoklos and trying to block him, trying to wear him out. That time, Randy, a nice hit below the block. He kind of sizzled the pits a little low that time.
And so far, Stoklos is up to the challenge. The ball goes wide by Brent Frohoff, so it is now 8-4. Smith and Stoklos trail in this game to 15.
Critical point for Smith and Stoklos. They need to get some points on the good side. They need to get to 8-7 before they change, because then they'll go to the bad side, and it's much tougher to score over there. If they want to make it a match, they have to score now.
You change sides in multiples of 5, and of course that's to even out the sun and the wind factor on the beach.
There it is, over it.
Good hit.
So Brent Frohoff again hits around the block, this time successfully.
Just continuing on the theory about serving Randy Stoklos, if you do serve Randy, you make him hit, he's going to be blocking and he's jump serving, so he's jumping 3 times, where St. John Smith is just playing defense behind, so you're making Stoklos do a lot more work if you serve him. However, you have to be able to side out and be ready for some bombs off your head, because he's going to crush some back in your face. Like that.
So endurance as well as skill a factor in a beach volleyball tournament.
People ask me all the time, do you really think they should serve Stoklos? I say, well, yeah, if you can stay out there for a couple hours, it might not be a bad solution. But when he gets up and he's on, he can really crunch it. I mean, it's not something that's going to work very quickly. But it's tough. Who do you serve, St. John or Randy? Both are very, very fine players.
There it is, over it.
And Stoklos just looked a little bit weak on that block. He didn't have his normal jump and reach that time, and as a result, Frohoff got it by him. 8-4, the team of Frohoff and Kiraly leading here. Kind of a surprising final so far. Sets by Smith. Stoklos hits it, but Frohoff up there at the net blocks it. That's a point, 9-4. Kiraly and Frohoff in front.
Unlike Smith and Stoklos, where Stoklos blocks every time, Kiraly and Frohoff alternate. Frohoff's a pretty good blocker. He looks kind of small because he's thin, but he gets up in the air. Watch him get up. He moves his hands to the right. Soft block into the corner. Another point. Kiraly and Frohoff blocking very effectively.
So in this 32-team field, Kiraly and Frohoff still playing ever so well. Two-hand set by Stoklos. And it is good, and that is a side out. As we said, there are a lot of other teams and players. Let's meet one of them right now. Last year, 11th on the AVP list. Jay Hanseth is still playing very, very well. In college, he was a volleyball, and in the finals, Randy Stoklos and St. John Smith, as you can see, are appropriately there because they are the all-time money winners, although Mike Dodd and Tim Hovland are right there with them. By the way, that bottom name, John Stevenson, who is also a very good player, was in this tournament, did not do well, and he may be sidelined a few weeks with a pulled stomach muscle.
And his partner, Pat Powers, of last year will be out till mid-season. He just had shoulder surgery, so that team not faring too well at the moment.
Bump set by Kiraly. Frohoff hits it off the block of Stoklos, and it goes out. So that is a side out. Remember, the game is to 15.
Really a shocking final so far, Lynn. Kiraly and Frohoff have outplayed Smith and Stoklos in just about every facet of the game.
Well, especially when you look at last year, there were only 3 teams who won tournaments: Smith, Stoklos, Hovland, Dodd, and Stevenson and Powers. So Frohoff and Kiraly can start off the year being a completely new winner.
Well, interesting what Jay Hanseth said. He said the top players are still as good, but there are more players that are better that go down the line through 5th, 7th, 9th, etc.
You put money in any sport and you'll get more good players.
Absolutely.
Though, don't you think?
The bottom players are getting much stronger.
There was a great serve and a great pass by Frohoff, and with the dink, he gets it down. What a play.
Controlling that jump serve is so important. That's something we didn't have to deal with when I was a player, but it's such a big factor now. You have to be able to move laterally very quickly in order to receive that serve. That's what Frohoff did.
Karch Kiraly, as we mentioned earlier, started at a very young age. His father is a doctor. His father still plays volleyball on the beach at East Beach in Santa Barbara. Ooh, Kiraly was there, but how are you going to dig it when it's coming at you 80, 90 miles an hour?
That was a terrific spike by Randy. One of the keys to good spiking is to face one way and then turn back the other way. See if Stoklos does this. He'll look towards the block and then swing inside, facing even inside Kiraly. Good spike by Randy.
But Smith and Stoklos have got a long way to go in this game to 15. Frohoff really using that angle well.
You know, I think Randy and St. John need a change of strategy. They're serving Brent Frohoff right there with the little hat on, but he's putting it away every time. So I think you have to try Kiraly part of the time. Frohoff's in a groove. He's getting a perfect set from Kiraly. He's passing well. He's crunching the ball. I think they'd be wise now to perhaps turn it on Kiraly and see what he can do.
And I was just going to say, at age 23, he's not going to get tired either, but that was sure a tired serve by Brent Frohoff. I think maybe just a lack of concentration.
Well, perhaps that's part of their strategy to try to wear him out. Frohoff has never been known as the most diligent trainer on the beach circuit. He's young, got a lot of talent.
So Frohoff changes his strategy. Instead of going cross court, goes down the line, and he threw off Kiraly's block, or Stoklos' block as a result.
2 of those career wins for Karch Kiraly came with St. John Smith. He won 2 world championships. That's a great hit. Against Randy Stoklos, able to turn down the line. To keep hitting that line shot, get in early and hit it high over the net, and he did that.
And there's another great shot by Randy Stoklos. So they keep serving him, and he looks forward to making those hits.
Side out to Smith and Stoklos.
We were talking about the team of Kiraly and Frohoff. Karch Kiraly, a great performer at UCLA, an outstanding student. He's got great international experience, and I think very, very tough mentally, and that should help Frohoff. helping his concentration, knowing that he's playing with Karch.
That's out.
Yeah, it went off the net, not off the block, so he missed it.
So perhaps Frohoff getting a little tired. He's been getting most of the serves all tournament. And Smith and Stoklos coming on now.
And Frohoff using that dink really well. And that has got to be frustrating for a guy like Randy Stoklos. All that jumping and to have that little dink go right over you.
Miscommunication on defense that time. Smith is over in the right corner. Now Stoklos jumps and he's expecting Smith to come get it. Now Randy perhaps could have gotten it himself, but that's why you communicate. And Smith and Stoklos didn't have it on that particular play.
St. John perhaps just digging in for the big hit, and he was on his heels and couldn't move. St. John Smith knocks it over in two. Back set by Kiraly, and Frohoff hits it off the block of Stoklos. So a costly error. When your partner hits it over in two and doesn't get it down, it can be very frustrating. Earlier we met Jay Hanseth, a player on the
The wave is rolling here in Fort Myers, but unfortunately the team of Smith and Stoklos is not. They're on the bad side. They're down by 5, and they really have to make a run right now. They have to smooth out and play very consistently from here on.
The Fort Myers Wave. It sounds like a new team. And that new team right now is Brent Frohoff and Karch Kiraly.
I was just kind of a ripple, Lynn. We're on the Atlantic coast, remember?
Okay. All right, we're just about ready to get back into action. Brent Frohoff, age 23, will put it in play. He played a little volleyball at Loyola Marymount University. He's from what we call the South Bay in Southern California. Oh, there's a shank on the serve by Randy Stoklos.
As I said earlier, Brent Frohoff has definitely one of the best jump serves. He's able to hit it cross court and down the line, and that time that one was curving away from Stoklos, made it hot to handle.
Just in. Good shot by St. John Smith. And Chris, you could see the set by Randy Stoklos is just a little bit back so that St. John has some room to maneuver with his hit.
Well, when the block is up, you have to set the ball off the net. And Randy Stoklos does a very good job of that. Smith making a nice placement shot. Smith and Stoklos need to score some points right here.
Nice hit by Brent Frohoff. It looked like St. John didn't even move. He was blocked out. He couldn't see it.
Last year, Frohoff played the opposite side. He played the left side. This year on the right side, people don't know about him quite as much. I'm sure Stoklos hasn't seen Brent Frohoff on the right hardly at all. And so his blocking pattern may not be as good against Frohoff on the right as it was on the left. He got it. Boy, they're blocking great.
Yeah, the dink was blocked. It looked like St. John tried to cut it or just dink it, and Frohoff was all over it.
Frohoff, as we said, 6'2", 6'3". He hangs up in the air. Smith pokes it, and Frohoff gets it right down off the net. Another block.
Major upset in the making right now. 3 points away from winning the tournament. Karch Kiraly and Brent Frohoff. And there's another point. So a great dig and an unusual set by Karch Kiraly, but it's right there.
Frohoff gets it overhand. That's legal. Kiraly falling down puts it in the perfect position, and Frohoff's playing great. As I mentioned, he used to play on the left, so he can whap it over there pretty good.
Karch Kiraly, tremendous performer as a setter at UCLA. And in fact, could play any position probably in volleyball on the national team. He doesn't even set anymore. Smith and Stoklos call timeout. They need to regroup. Kiraly and Frohoff way out in front, 13-5.
Focus get, you're able to deal with it. Karch Kiraly's been in every situation, but so have the beach players. But I think it does lend itself to it. Oh, another ace serve, unbelievable.
Well, Kiraly has been there many times before. He knows how to close off a match, and that's what he wants to do right now. He starts it with an ace.
The advantage of being on the good side. The wind is blowing in Karch's face. It makes the ball blow down quicker than Smith anticipates. It goes down as an ace. 14 points for Kiraly and Frohoff.
So Karch Kiraly, who has won before, is looking very, very confident. Remember, he's concentrated on the indoors, and had he been a full-time beach player, who knows where he might be, regarded among the all-time best. Anyway, there's still a lot of time left in his career. And as we look at the list of the all-time winners, we can see that Smith and Stoklos are dominating. Ron Von Hagen there is now 50 years old. He played in the 60s, in the days when they only had 7 or 8 tournaments for a whole summer. Mike Dodd, a present player. Jim Mingus in the 70s. Chris played with you. Tim Hovland still playing very well. Okay, Smith and Stoklos call timeout. We'll be back.
Karch Kiraly in the prime of his life, 28 years old. And he is going to serve championship point. Oh, another ace. Too much.
They were too much in this whole tournament. Brent Frohoff and Karch Kiraly dominate here in the last game. And Stoklos congratulates Brent Frohoff. It's only the 3rd win of his Open career.
And the 24th of Karch Kiraly's career, but the first one in over a year. The advantage of being on the good side, the ball drops before Smith can even get there. So Karch Kiraly and Brent Frohoff, they win the first tournament of the year.